Awesome. Well, today, guys, we're going to go through, it's going to be recorded as well for anyone who's listening. The secret to joy and happiness. Now, this is just something like there's just going to be a few things in here that may spike your interest with your journey. It might relate to what you're going through at the moment, but we're just going to get straight into it. I'm pretty much going to explain like the core habits which are actually going to help you build a happier life. Not just the habits, but also a few philosophies as well. So I think with most people who start working with me, I get you to write down your definition of happiness. If you don't know your definition of happiness, like I think everyone's definition is completely different. And that's why I guess we believe whatever makes us happy is going to be different to what everyone else definition of happiness is because of what has happened in our childhood bringing up. If we think money makes us happy because it's what our parents have told us, or we think or believe that serving others is going to make us happy, then those are the habits that we're going to continue as we get older and older and older from childhood. So if you don't have a definition of happiness and your definition of happiness will be different to everyone else's, I suggest you just write it down now or just have a little think about it. Like, what is your definition of happiness? Now, I will be talking more about this today, but joy and happiness are not the same thing. Happiness is the state of being from joy, right? So joy is the feeling you get from being happy, right? So happiness is the state of being, joy is the feeling, and we'll talk more about that. So a lot of the time we get mixed up with the two and we think they're the same thing. Just be happy, just be joyful. And I'm sure you've heard or had someone tell you before, like, why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just be, grateful? Or why can't you just be this, right? And sometimes it's not always that easy. So what I'm going to show you today are going to be like the simple little habits and philosophies that have personally changed my life and my perspective of, I guess, giving myself permission to actually be happy and experience joy rather than just being a thing that and another emotion that we can feel and act upon. So the first and probably the most important one is resilience. So a lot of the time we don't think that resilience has anything to really do with happiness, but it does. It's like the foundation of why people become happier. So happy people become more satisfied, not simply because they feel better, but because they develop resources for living well. Students with high resilience are happier and more satisfied with their lives, and that comes from a study they did on resilience. And if you think about it now, all those trials and tribulations and things that have happened in your life leading up to where you are now, I'd suggest you ask yourself, would you be any happier if that didn't happen to you and you didn't build resilience towards it? And I'll give you a little example. If someone was to have a pretty rough life, they're probably super resilient, right? I know a lot of you guys have gone through, traumatic events and things that have happened, right? And they've built you and led you to where you are now. So have a think, if that didn't happen to you, where would your resilience level be? Meaning that if someone was to make a little comment about you or something like that has already happened to you would happen now rather than what you've already gone through because you're already resilient, how would you be able to deal with that? And that's why I believe a lot of people choose to end their lives as well, is because yes, they may have had a tough life and may have had enough and they feel like that's their only option, but it's learning to know how to use the resilience that you've already built and how to adapt that moving forward. Now, I talk about this circle all the time. This is like my happiness circle and a bit of my philosophy, but you're in the middle of the circle, right? So we're going to talk a bit more about resistance because it's kind of like the opposite and related to resilience. You are in the middle of this circle, right? And you're just going round and round in a circle, right? You may be doing the same thing constantly again and again. You may be stuck in a rut. You may be, constantly trying to find the love of your life. You may be constantly trying to find your purpose or maybe you're just stuck in the same old routine and you don't know how to get out. What happens is usually it's because we're attached to a specific outcome. I'm just letting Chastity in. Generally, it's because we are attached to a specific outcome. And this happened to me at the start of the year. I was doing the same thing over and over again in my business, thinking, okay, I've got to do something different. That's why I started this community. And it broke this circle. Really interesting. Welcome, Chastity. It broke this circle for me, right? And now I have been able to receive and see all new opportunities around me that I didn't see before, right? So when we're going round and round in a circle and we're constantly attached to the outcome, it's very hard for us to physically see other opportunities. There's more than one way to earn $1 million. There's more than one way to lose weight. There's more than one way to find the love of your life, as a few examples, right? But when we're stuck in this rut, we're doing the same thing and nothing is working. Generally, when you feel stuck, you need to push harder and go challenge yourself in a different way, or you need to forgive somebody. That's generally the two reasons we feel stuck. But mostly it's because like our energy is only capable of doing certain things at specific times. So when we're doing the same thing, we become comfortable, but it's when we branch out and we go on a holiday or allow ourselves to receive something that is not in the circle already, we're able to have the energy to see what's outside of the circle, and that is new opportunities. So whoever's listening to this and you feel like you're going round and round a circle, or you're stuck in a rut, or you're just unhappy, have a think about how you can break this cycle. And I want you to think about as, interfere. How can you intervention, like I'm going to call it intervention. What needs to be your intervention to break this cycle? If you've watched How I Met Your Mother, they do like a thing with the group. If they don't like something about what they're doing or someone they're dating, they do an intervention, right? They tell them why. It's kind of like a debate in a way. So what needs to be your intervention? Resistance. These are just some examples. You join the gym to get fit again and plan to go 4 times a week. You keep coming up with reasons not to go. And then the cycle happens again. You should show more affection in your relationship, but something is stopping you from taking that leap and nothing changes. Goes around in a cycle, happens again. There is something will change your life and you get motivated to do so. You pull out last minute because anxiety creeps in, and then it goes around in a circle. And what you'll find is, because we haven't resolved the resistance and understood it, and even understood our limiting beliefs around this, we're going to continue going round and round in a circle until we learn our lesson in a way. And then procrastination is a form of resistance. So this is like one of the biggest forms of resistance is procrastination. There's so many different types of resistance. But as an example, schedule an important task into your calendar. You don't complete the task, but you find an easier task to do, right? That task then stays on your calendar for weeks. You then even get more anxious and overwhelmed because the to-do list just keeps growing longer and longer. See how we're going around and around in a circle, not getting to a resolution. You then start questioning if this is even what you want to do in life, and then the cycle starts again. Most of you guys here are business owners and can relate to this, especially the last one, when you're like, is this even what I want to do? And that is why you need an intervention. All right, what is going to break the procrastination cycle? What is going to break the rut and burnout that you're in? Do you need to go on a holiday? Do you need to start just picking 3 MITs a day? Neuroplasticity. So I want you to think of like if you're holding a ball. So what it is, I just kind of explained it in the most childlike way. So it's, you can actually understand it. Neuroplasticity is like your brain being made of clay, right? If you're holding a ball, that is your brain, it's made out of clay. Just like you can shape and change clay into different things, your brain can change and make new connections, right? This helps you learn new things, remember, and get better at things, even if you mess up or get hurt. So the thing is, like, because your brain, just think of it as, expands and molds into whatever your belief systems are, right? And the habits that you create. So when we look at resilience, every time a hardship comes about or you do something that is hard and you get through it and you learn from it and it makes you a better person, it's your brain changing and molding you to become more resilient, which then leads to actually a happier life. One study found that 95% of thoughts were repetitive, meaning they were similar to previous thoughts, and the average person has up to 70,000 thoughts a day, which is quite interesting, right? Multiple studies. I shouldn't have said one study. There's so many studies. I'm just going to add Zomi here. There are so many different studies done to know that 90% of your thoughts are repetitive. So if you think about what you thought about yesterday, okay, let's just say a few days ago or yesterday, you're like, oh, thinking really negative about yourself. Do I want to do this? Oh, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you didn't have a good sleep and that was a chain reaction to not eating well, didn't get exercise in. Let's just say it was just like one of those negative days that we all have every now and then. I probably have one once a month, and it's really interesting because I am super emotionally aware of it, that I'm like, okay, how could I have changed my mindset, my perspective of the day, rather than just letting it one thing happen after another? And that is why the resilience part of it is really important, because it's almost like a discipline to your emotional intelligence. So if you think about the thoughts are repetitive, 95% of your thoughts are repetitive every single day. You have to choose your thoughts super wisely. And that is why in my book, 30 Days to Happiness, we talk a lot about like the words that come out of your mouth, what you say, what you think, what you do. Like they all add up to reconstructing your subconscious mind and the way you think. So your thoughts aren't repetitive in the negative way, but in a positive way. That's what we're reinforcing here. Now, have a little think about right now. If your thoughts were displayed on this presentation, on this slide, how would it make you feel? Whatever you've been thinking or worried about or thinking right now, and it was displayed where everyone could see, how would that make you feel? Have a think about that, because that will show you if you need to start changing those thought patterns. And when we go to the next slide, it's a chain reaction. So your thoughts, what you think, sometimes, a lot of the time we think we don't have control over our thoughts, but we absolutely do, by changing our environment, changing the people we hang around, by doing the things that are going to actually change our thought patterns. Being careful what you watch on TV, what you listen to, the people you hang around. It's pretty much starts with your environment, which is really interesting. That changes your thoughts, right? You have thoughts. Then they become feelings, anxiety, joy, whatever comes about. And then it becomes into a behavior. Okay, almost like a habit. What's the behavior? I'm going to act out and punch a wall because I'm angry. The best one to explain. And that's the action, right? The behavior is like, I'm going to get angry, I'm going to punch a wall. The action is punching the wall, as an example. But you can also use this as well with, okay, I feel like doing yoga behavior. I'm actually going to do yoga. Behavior is almost like the habit, because you can change your behaviors. The action is actually doing it. How manifestation and execution are all linked. So if you know me and my business for a while, you'll know that our 4 key values are accountability, work ethic, discipline, and authenticity, right? And that is because I have built a formula that allows you to hold yourself accountable, which a lot of people find hard. If you can learn to hold yourself accountable and have those 4 key values and add them into your own life, but they may not be your core values. But we know that if you learn to hold yourself accountable, you're going to be a lot more efficient with the things that you do, right? You're not going to have to rely on external motivation and accountability, but you have yourself, right? You know that saying, it's like you're your own best friend, right? And no one else can do it for you. It's absolute true. It's the truth. Like, you are the only one that can take action. So you have to choose like how you want to see the world, your thoughts, those feelings and emotions, like we talked about with the neuroplasticity and that chain reaction. The goal is to feel, now this is actually, before I get started with this has been the biggest game changer for me personally with my overall being of happiness and feeling more joy in my life. A lot of the time we don't think we give ourselves enough credit to actually feel joy. Like, give yourself full permission to feel joy and have fun and be challenged and enjoy life. So a lot of the time I'm like, okay, well, especially since having Jasmine, like I felt like my freedom went away completely. And it was just my perspective and turned into a behavior and then turned into an action, right? And I stopped doing fun things for a little while. And I was like, what? I'm feeling so sad, blah, blah, blah. Not sad, but just like I felt like I lost my freedom. So the example here is, okay, well, how can I feel more gratitude, love, and joy as much as possible? That is what's going to raise your vibration to feel your absolute best and be joyful. The stronger the emotion, the faster you manifest the emotion, such as lack, anger, blame, stress. We do the opposite. Okay. So the more you think negative thoughts, the more thoughts are going to come in that are more negative. Then the actions and the behaviors. Give you an example. I had one of those days. Everyone's had one of those days where you wake up, you didn't sleep well, and then this was quite a long time ago now, but I can't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure I went to the gym. Something happened before that. And I went to the gym, and then Jasmine was like super just cranky because she was teething. So I lasted 10 minutes in the gym, had to go pick her up 10 minutes. So I did like a warm up and then had to leave the gym. And then we went to go to grocery shopping. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy a protein shake. Spilt it all over me, spilled all over my bag. And then I ran through a red light, and the day just kept going on and on and on. It was like one of those days. I was like, why me? Right? And I started having a bit of a victim mentality. So the thing is, I asked myself, okay, so why do I feel like this? I allow myself to feel like this. Like, it's not about ignoring this emotion at all. It's not about that. It's not about shoving it underneath the rug. It's about dealing with it the best way possible, knowing that you're the only one who can change the perspective that you're in. So what I could have done was listen to my body. And I think I must have been really tired and sore. So I probably shouldn't have gone to the gym. Should have probably just done like a Pilates or yoga workout at home and just had a really peaceful morning. And then the day probably would have changed. As well, when I woke up in the morning, I didn't do my usual visualization, gratitude, those important things. I skipped it. So it's really important that you actually think about those habits that are actually going to set you up for the day. But I want to ask you, like, how can you feel gratitude, love, and joy as much as possible? Ever since I've started doing this, I haven't had one of those days in a very long time, because my goal now is, how can I feel the happiest today? If that's honestly taking the afternoon off and doing some drawing or painting or going for a walk in the sun, talking to a friend I haven't talked to in a while. And I love this. I think it's from, I forgot his name. Anyway, he's like a channeler dude. Act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability with the zero insistence on the outcome. So if you think about it, when you're starting a business, right, or you're doing something, like let's just say you run a marathon, and you are so excited to run a marathon or, start this business or pursue this hobby, or even a relationship, you could look at this act. And you act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability. Like for me, it's going out into the sun, maybe going horse riding, because I love that. It's coaching people, right? Building a business. If I do that every day to the best of my ability, because I'm super happy and excited about it, with absolutely no insistence of the outcome, knowing that, okay, let's just say someone wants to make $1 million. I'm going to work until I make $1 million. They're attached to their outcome. They're going to get stuck in that circle again. So have a think about what makes you the absolute happiest. It brings your excitement to like a 10 out of 10. How can you do and feel more of that? It's going to be different for everybody. And the real thing that I suggest everyone writes down is this kind of sentence here, or quote. But write down, as an affirmation, I give myself permission to feel good today. Because a lot of the time we feel like we don't deserve it. Like we work hard, we do this, we do that, and maybe we procrastinated and then we feel like we don't deserve it. And just because that's become a reinforced habit to tell ourselves that we don't deserve this, then we don't do it enough. Same like going on a holiday. Why do you think so many people don't go on holidays? It's because they feel like maybe deep down inside they don't deserve it, because they're attached to a very specific outcome because they haven't gotten there yet. So if you remove that outcome and just do it because you love it, it's going to change the total dynamic for how you see happiness and feel joy. So we're talking about how, for those people who have just joined, happiness is a state of being, joy is the feeling. They're not the same thing. Happiness is often expressed through a general sense of contentment, satisfaction, or well-being, while joy is often expressed through more outward displays of emotion, such as laughter, smiles, or tears of joy. That's the best way to explain it. Now, like I was talking about, like our key values at 30 Days to Happiness and in the happiness formula, accountability and discipline are like our top two. Have a little think about this as I go through what accountability really means and what does it mean to you. There's so many different types of accountability. You got self-accountability, you got social accountability, you got one-on-one accountability, got so many different types of accountability. But here are a few steps that I guess you can take, or things you can think about. Take responsibility and ownership. Remove victim mentality. So you know how I was talking about that day where everything just felt like it was just challenging and one thing happened after another? I didn't take responsibility. I was stuck in a victim mentality, right? And yeah, it could have been like my hormones. I could have blamed it on this and that, but I still had full control, no matter how I feel, of how I want to feel, by changing the way I think and my thoughts, changing your environment. My nervous system was probably off the rails, had to relax it a little bit. And it's just becoming a little bit more emotionally aware of it. You have full control of your time, knowing that you do. You choose how you use your time. If you died tomorrow, the time and your calendar wouldn't actually even matter. So if you look at it and think of it that way, you have full control of how you choose to use your time. Not always when we work in a 9-to-5 job, but being realistic here, you do have full control over how you choose to use your time. Like, you choose to work 9-to-5. You choose to spend it with people who don't support your dreams, right? You have full control of how you use your time, even when you're procrastinating. Set realistic expectations. I think this has been a massive one for me, especially when you listen to all these manifesting gurus who say, who talk about those big leaps, right? Massive, huge leaps where you wake up and you've made $1 million, or you've just woken up and, you know, the love of your life is right over there and he's been there the whole time, or, you know, those things where you're trying to manifest that dream car and all of a sudden you win the lottery, or, you know, all these really big, huge leaps. I think a lot of the time, yes, it can happen. I totally believe that. But a lot of the time they use it as a marketing gimmick, right? And it's definitely possible. And I've seen it happen. I know heaps of people that's happened to. But if we can set more realistic expectations, it kind of allows us to see the vision without getting so attached to the outcome, if that makes sense. Setting a realistic expectation. Okay, well, where's my business going to be at the end of this year? Let's be realistic rather than thinking, you know, the whole 10x thing. Grant Cardone's 10x. That's a great example. Yes, 10x is better than 2x, right? And easier than 2x. But have a really clear think about, if you were to 10x everything in your life right now, where would you be? Would you feel overwhelmed? Would it just be too much? So if you were to 10x something and you want to be realistic about it, try and pick one thing. If you try and 10x all areas of your life, you will get exhausted. I tried to do this so many times. I'm not saying this out of not having done it before. I've done this so many times. And it just hasn't worked because I've just put all my eggs in one basket. Try and pick one thing that you want to go all in on, and then just focus on that. Celebrate and reward. You've got to learn to celebrate and reward yourself for it, right? Once you've hit that milestone, celebrate it. Go on a holiday. Reward yourself. You're allowed to feel good. That is actually a really important high performance habit a lot of people don't do, but it will change the game and it'll reinforce those happy endorphins and those dopamine and, you know, the love that you have for yourself. You're rewarding yourself for all your hard work. Focus on daily tracking to improve discipline, affirmations. to change the way you see a situation. So if we look at daily tracking, like in the VIP community, we're going to be starting a habit tracker competition. So you'll pick, 3 to 5 habits, and whoever has every single box ticked 5 days a week for 30 days will get a prize. I'm not telling you what the prize is yet. But that is going to reinforce all those really good habits, and we're doing it as a group, and it's going to be really fun. So if you want to join us, just send me a DM with the word habits, and then we can see if you want to join. But think about the affirmations that are going to help you change the way you think, reconstruct your subconscious mind to perceive things differently in your life and see a situation in the best possible light. Cool. Discipline. So accountability is when you or someone is holding you accountable to get a result. Discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to push yourself forward, stay motivated, and take action regardless of how you're feeling physically or emotionally. Have a little think about how those two are related in your life. You're showing it when you intentionally choose to pursue something better for yourself. So going to the gym in the morning, saying those affirmations, doing something you generally don't feel like doing, right? If we did everything we felt like doing, we would probably not do a lot of what is good for us. Not every day do we feel like going to the gym. Not every day do we feel like going out and getting sunlight and going for a walk. Not every day do we feel like drinking 3 liters of water or 2.5 liters of water. As some examples. What am I up to? So you choose to pursue something better for yourself and do it in a spite of factors such as distraction, hard work, or unfavorable odds. Self-discipline is different from self-motivation or willpower. Motivation and willpower contribute to it, as do persistence, the ability to follow through on your intentions, and your hard work. You can also ask yourself, how can I gain more discipline in my life? It starts actually with accountability. Doing it consistently until it becomes a habit. The control game. So these are 2 habits actually in my book, and I just wanted to share them with you guys because they're probably going to be huge and they're kind of related to everything we're talking about. Yeah, they're just 2 big habits that are really important for changing the way you think. The control game. So a lot of time we kind of feel like we have to take control of things, and that's why the quote in my book, we become unhappy when we don't meet our own expectations. It's the truth, right? So when we're attached to an outcome or we have our own expectations and we want to take full control, generally it's because that's when we become unhappy. So here's a really great thing if you feel overwhelmed or you just feel like you want to take control over everything and you're not letting go. It's the complete let go which brings happiness into your life. And that's like a whole nother chapter. List everything down you're worried or anxious about. Cross out everything you have no control over. Focus on what you do have control over right now. So every time that you are overwhelmed or you feel like you just want to control everything or nothing is in your favor, do this exercise. It's a game changer. The blame game. That's another one. Who are you blaming? Are you blaming yourself? Are you blaming others for the situation you're in? It's so easy and it becomes a habit. So much easier to blame someone else than yourself in this situation. Understanding the victim mentality. Do you have a victim mentality? Thinking, why me? Okay, it's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. The world hates me. It's that mentality that will get you the complete opposite of happiness. Blaming yourself and blaming others. Have a think about right now. Who are you blaming in your life? Are you blaming yourself? Are you blaming others? And what is that doing to you? You need to let go and forgive. These are some daily happiness habits. Actually, no, these are just, next one is daily happiness habits. These are really important habits that I would suggest that you kind of like pick the ones that are going to resonate with you right now, but this kind of leads to the happiness formula. Gratitude. So change your focus. A lot of time we're like, oh, just be grateful, practice gratitude. I think just saying just be grateful is so overrated because gratitude is not always easy for everybody. So sometimes it has to be intentionally forced. In the morning, write down 10 things you're grateful for, feel the emotion of why you're grateful for them, instead of just picking the same things every day. I'm thankful for my sleep. I'm thankful for this. The same things every day. Try and go outside that circle and think of something slightly different that you are grateful for. And that's why I like at the end of the day, you can think, what am I grateful for today? Because every day is different. Change your focus. If you can change your focus to gratitude, you're going to change the way you think and how your day runs, right? How you start your day is how you're going to end your day. So choose to start your day well. Purpose. Purpose is not a daily act. It is purpose is a daily act. It is not a destination. A lot of the time we think purpose is a destination. Oh, I have to find my purpose. I have to be happy. I have to, get to a destination, right? Absolutely not true. Purpose is a daily act. My purpose, and because the only reason I know this is because of the trials and tribulations I've gone through, is to now help people wake up happy every day. What's one thing I can do every day to help someone wake up happier? I could smile. I could say, you look amazing today. I could jump on a workshop like this. There are so many things that you can do, but if you don't know your purpose, you can go into the happiness formula and do the whole purpose workshop. You'll find your purpose in 45 minutes, and it will just give you a good kickstart to what your purpose really is. And it will change through seasons as well. It's not like this is my purpose for the rest of my life. It will change. It's fine. Vision for the next 5-10 years gives you motivation to get up in the morning and to do the daily acts that don't make sense at times, right? So let's say you're saving for a property. You go, okay, well, I need to start saving and make this amount and blah, 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 blah. The only thing that's going to keep you there is not just getting up out of bed and saving, because we know saving sucks. Saving is hard sometimes. So vision, what is that big vision? That's what's going to keep you not just motivated, but sane through all those daily acts, right? Same with losing weight. You want to lose 10 kilos? The daily action steps are going to get you to that vision, but it's you visualizing yourself fitting into those jeans, wearing those heels, feeling amazing, which is going to keep you on board. Giving, acts of kindness, you get what you give back. I truly believe that. That's a universal law. So every day if you give and go intentionally, okay, how can I give today? How can I do something for someone else? It's automatically going to put you one step ahead of the thought process of more positivity and bringing more acts of kindness into your own life as well. Fun and challenge. Make sure you are implementing this. A lot of time we don't. What can you do to challenge yourself in the next 30 days? What can you do every week to have more fun? That is my challenge for you. Social connection. Hundreds of studies are linked to happiness, right? So social connection and resilience are actually like the top two key things for, these balloons. I don't know where that came from. The top key things for you to actually experience more happiness in your life and experience more joy. Get yourself around people who are going to motivate you, not just motivate you, but inspire. If you're around people who are like, oh, why would you do that? How's this going? Oh, my life's terrible. But like, you may love those people, but it's not going to bring any good into your life being around them, unfortunately. Surround yourself with friends and family members who support you and love you. But a lot of the time as well, if you see, and this is going a little bit deeper now, but if there's someone in your life that generally kind of like annoys you, just think of that person. If there is none, great. Think about what it is, like the attributes that actually like, and the things they do that annoy you. Now you need to look at yourself. What are the things that they do that you also do? Generally, if you change yourself first, that person will change automatically. Don't know why, it just happens. Or they'll end up leaving your life. Interesting. But yeah, if we go back to fun and challenge, seriously, guys, have more fun, do more things that challenge you, makes you feel alive, climb that mountain, go skydiving, go on that holiday, do things that bring you joy, because it's going to bring more joy into your life. Trust me. Okay, last slide here. Daily happiness. Now, I've already talked about this in, I think it was the last workshop, but the 4 major neurotransmitters, endorphin, serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine. Now, if you hit these every single day, you're going to feel a lot happier. So this is kind of like a way to manipulate the way you feel. So endorphins, daily exercise, get your heart up, release those endorphins. Serotonin, get out in the sunlight, right? Dopamine, achieve something awesome today. If that's that one task, if that's the meal prep, if that's the clean the house, achieve something. And oxytocin, give your animals a hug, give your partner a hug, just hug. Feel love. It's the love hormone. We go to gratitude. First thing in the morning, start thinking about those things you're grateful for. Start saying affirmations. Thank you for today. I'm so grateful for today. I'm grateful I'm alive today. Today's going to be a great day. Just start saying that as you get changed and get out of bed in the morning. Forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive today? You need to completely let that go. Forgiveness is not easy, right? So that's like a whole nother process. I'm not even going to talk about that now because I'll go on forever. Vision. What is that vision that's going to get you out of bed in the morning, right? How we're just talking about the vision that increases your motivation to continue those daily action steps. Purpose. What's the purpose for the vision? The reason you get out of bed every single morning. Okay. And then the other side of it is the main actual habits that are going to help increase your happiness. Sunlight, first thing in the morning, exercise first thing in the morning if you can, or just going out and getting sunlight, going for a walk. That's been scientifically proven. Nutrition, if you eat like crap, you're going to feel like crap, right? Start eating foods that are actually going to give you energy. If you look at food as energy and fuel, you will make completely different changes, right? I agree as well. Social. Have a think about who you're surrounding yourself with. Be really careful with who you surround yourself with. If you're like, I have no friends and no one to surround myself with, you've got to put the effort in to go out there and find these people, unfortunately. You can sit down and manifest them to come to you, but you've also got to put in the energy and effort. Go to networking events, go to meetups. There's so much out there. You've got to search for it intentionally. And another thing as well, right? This is something that happened it was a reminder for me. That saying, anything's actually possible? It's actually true, because anything is actually possible. People have done the impossible. And I think that kind of quote or saying hasn't been said enough in a way where it's kind of just cliche, like anything is possible. You just do what you want to do in life. But if you think about it, there are more than one way to get to a specific outcome. So if you look at it that way, there is more than one way for you to achieve something. So have a little think about that. Anything is actually possible. Like the other day, I was trying to find this phone number for this equestrian center just down the road. I have spent months searching for it, right? And I just gave up. I was like, stuff it. I'm going to find it. Anything is possible. I went on Facebook and actually found it because I changed my mindset around it. I was like, I'm going to keep searching for it until I find it. And you need to have that mentality with everything that you do. I'm going to keep going to the gym and eating healthy until I get to my weight. And I'm going to continue those habits, right? And then social connection. Oh yeah, that's the last one we just did. And if you haven't read my book, 30 Days to Happiness, you can get it on Amazon or Audible or on my website. If you want a signed copy, you can send me a message and I'll send you one. And you can also listen to the podcast. I'll release episodes every Thursday at 8 a.m. And we've got some really cool guests on there and talk about all things business, happiness, habits, life, all sorts of things. So that is today's little workshop, just a small snippet of things I could talk about forever. But I think if you were to take one thing away from this is how can you change your thoughts by changing your environment? Think about how can you allow yourself to experience more fun and joy in life, because that is going to raise your vibration to attract more positivity into your life. And what is that one thing or a few things that you can do to your highest excitement forever and ever, and you never get bored, and I guess no intention on the outcome? You can't see the outcome. It's fine. A lot of time we do because it gives us security. But I hope you guys enjoyed that today. A lot of information there. This recording will be in the community and with the slides as well, so you can take it and leave it and do whatever you want with it. But otherwise, questions. Feel free to just unmute.
I'm trying to think of this movie. It's a movie. It's part 2 coming out. It's this little girl who her parents moved to a new state, and it is in her mind. And she's got depression. She's got all these characters in her mind, and it controls what she does. And all of a sudden,
Inside Out.
it's Inside Out.
Oh, yes.
Inside Out. If
Yes.
anyone has seen that movie,
That's a
it
good
is
movie.
so spot on. The way we live, the way we think, the way we see things. So if you haven't seen that movie, absolutely see it. There's a part 2 coming
Yeah.
out on it now, and
Yeah.
the next one
It's a
is
great movie.
anxiety. Yeah.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Isabel, because like that's definitely one of my favorite. It's classed as a children's movie, but I think everyone should watch it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Game changer
Yeah.
because it puts everything into perspective for you, really.
It does. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought I'd just share that. That's
Thank
a
you.
movie that sticks out.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Isabel. Appreciate it. Does anyone have any other questions before we finish up? No questions?
Well, I was just going to ask, what did you say your 4 values are, or your 4 points about your purpose? I think you said accountability, discipline. What were the other 2?
Yep. So for my business and my personal ones are slightly different, but they're very similar. So for 30 Days to Happiness, it's accountability,
Yep.
discipline,
Yep.
work ethic,
Work ethic. That's right. Yep.
and authenticity.
Authenticity. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
But my personal values are they're similar but slightly different, but they're authenticity, quality,
Yep.
work ethic,
Yep.
and discipline.
Yeah. That's right.
And accountability, whatever. But
Yeah.
quality's in there as well. So
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for that.
it's
Yeah.
okay. No worries at all. No worries at all. Well, I hope you all have a fabulous day. I hope you enjoy today's workshop. I'll see you all tomorrow for 10-minute teach and Q&As for anyone who wants to join us. And any questions about this during the week, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks very much for that. Great
You're welcome.
stuff.
You're welcome. Have a great week, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.
We'll be a see ya.
Thanks. Bye.